Okay, so fams, I'm gonna go on to the next section. And this section again, I'm just going to reiterate the information because this has been out in mainstream media. And this is what's happening, that college kids are under massive surveillance right now because of the pandemic. And a lot of them have actually taken the vaccine and done their part. However, there are still draconian requirements happening while they're at school because of the pandemic. So COVID-19 precautions, and this is from the Wall Street Journal, prompt backlash on college campuses. Some students push back against surveillance and other measures they see as going too far. Okay, and I'm just going to read the caption under here. At the University of Southern California, where 95% of students are vaccinated, proof of a weekly negative COVID test is required to enter campus, despite students being vaccinated. Student complaints include objections to restrictions on their travel on and off campus, increased surveillance, and what they consider erosion of civil liberties. Student-led petitions have prompted some schools to drop the use of location tracking apps and requirements to wear sensors that monitor vital signals, vital signs. At the core of their concern is a fear that universities are constructing a bureaucracy designed to control a generation just coming of age. This is what somebody said, quote, "It feels like the school is blackmailing me. They get all this personal information, and in exchange, I get an education." Dan Smith, a graduate student studying labor history at Wayne State University in Detroit, said, "It's the growth of the surveillance state. These are college kids understanding that this is a little bit draconian. Around 3/4 of students are in favor of vaccine mandates. That's about 75%. This is according to surveys. University faculty are also broadly supportive of them, and some of them have protested at schools where the vaccines are not required. This fall, what is riling up students are precautions they see as going too far, especially on campuses where vaccination rates are nearly universal. Protests and petitions have popped up at least 40 schools pushing back against vaccine and mask mandates. Some are coming from the same groups that complained before the pandemic that their schools are becoming as heavily surveilled as prisons. At the University of Southern California, 95% of students are vaccinated, yet they still need the weekly negative COVID test to enter campus. Students must leave classrooms to take a sip of water rather than just sliding their mask down. Security guards circulate in the library, and student union reminding students to cover their noses and mouth with their masks, said sophomore Marin Reese. "It just feels like overreach," Miss Reese said. "You wonder, where is all this medical information going? Can professors see it?" Michigan has seen its share of reprisals. Students at Oakland University near Detroit successfully pushed back against a wearable, quote, bio button designed to monitor their heart rate, temperature, respiration, and warn the school if a student was showing signs of COVID-19. At Albion College in Albion, Michigan, students petitioned the school to drop an app that monitored their location on and off campus. Last week, Western Michigan University lost a federal appeal to require student athletes to be vaccinated to play. And Montana State University instituted a policy to place students on probation who have twice been reported by a professor for not wearing a mask. A third complaint results in a semester suspension. A fourth mask offense is grounds for expulsion. The expansion of video proctoring inside student homes during the pandemic has also prompted backlash. Millions of college students now take exams online while monitored through their computer camera by an employee of a proctoring company or software designed to detect any movement that could be construed as cheating. I am thanking the days that I am not an undergrad right now. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, many universities were already recording students' faces with video surveillance cameras, tracking their movements with GPS, and monitoring their message on social media and email. Schools also regularly detail students' study habits through digital textbooks records when they enter building, log their presence in class, the library, and even the football game. All of these relatively new tracking technologies are in addition to years-old systems that leverage students' IDs to monitor how frequently they are entering gyms, dorms, and cafeterias. Mandates have added an additional level of scrutiny, even those not on campus. A New Jersey student was barred from taking classes at Rutgers University because he hasn't been vaccinated, even though he's taking all of his classes online from home. And the student Sarah Razi, a New Jersey chair for Young Americans for Liberty, a libertarian organization with chapters at colleges across the country, helped organize 2 protests against vaccine mandates and mask mandates at Rutgers, where she sees, quote, creeping authoritarianism. The vaccination rate among students at the school is about 95%. Recently, Ms. Razi took off her mask in the library to take a sip of coffee, and a librarian reprimanded her, she said. This woman said, "You're violating the mask policy." Ms. Razi said, "I told her, what's the problem? I'm drinking a cup of coffee." She said, "I don't care. Put it on." So again, this is what's happening. And Pasta, I know you're going to want to rant about this, but let's do it on Rokfin only. I know this is intense and it's hard not to say anything. But this is, at the very least, let's talk about the surveillance overreach. Now we're monitoring students who aren't even in school. You're monitoring their every activity. Your parents don't even monitor you this much. I mean, my mom sometimes monitors my sister via her Snapchat. But but you know, parents do this stuff. But that's parents. This is the school. This is a third party exam proctor. Let's talk about the surveillance state aspect of this. Why is this, an overreach of our civil liberties here? Because students are at this point in college 18 years old. They're adults. And obviously they have the right to say, hey, as an adult, I'm not okay with this. Yeah. So just on the surveillance state. Yeah.
On the surveillance state, it's like, what's next? We're going to start chipping people. We're literally, it's just kind of crazy. And the data mining of these people, when you start collecting their information, who is that collecting that data? Who's going to have that data? How do we know that data is secure? You're talking about outsourcing surveillance when people are doing online classes and whatnot. So if you start outsourcing all this information, this data is not secure. Our personal information will never be secure. That's the only 3 comments I have right there. Whatnot. It's very scary. Every aspect of this, whatnot. And this is something we talk about all the time, about the data mining that's out there, these third parties that are kind of, holding on to all this data, and they have free range to our data. Well, they can do anything with that data they want whatsoever. So that's just one scary part about this particular situation that's going on. I mean, this is like crazy, frightening stuff. So really,
right. And I just want to reiterate that the vast majority of these universities, the students are 95% inoculated with the vaccine. They took their part. They did their part, and they're still required to take tests. Right. They're still being required to do this. And then they're also now required to be monitored and also, wear the mask. And now how, when they take it off, when they sit for a drink, now that's up, for debate. So it creates this whole, like, the teachers are now, cops. They're acting like they have to have some sort of authority. And it's a slippery slope into, is this an environment that students want to be in? Are students going to drop out because they don't want to feel like they're in prison? These are their words. They said it feels like a prison. So it's interesting to see young people push back against this as everything is happening, because now the next part that I'm going to get to, if you thought that was scary, here is what a full passport beyond vaccination will look like. Now, here is Thales. It is pretty much what we would call a regular ID wallet, something that you would have, like you have your wallet on your iPhone. Well, you can have, your airline ticket, you can have your bank card. All of that is very handy a lot of times. We humans, especially younger people, we want to have access to things at a digital level because we are, we're more used to the digital age. But the problem is, when does that go too far? When does the government's surveillance become overreach? When does the government get access to all of your information? So this is Thales. It's a 3-minute plus video, but it's worth every minute. Just watch it and we'll discuss.
Hello everyone, meet Lucy, student in psychology, and me, her digital ID wallet issued by the government to offer a wide range of identity services. In fact, I'm a handy way of proving and protecting her identity both online and face-to-face. Let's have a closer look at what I can do. I can help governments to better communicate with citizens. Right now, I'm reminding Lucy of the appointment she needs to schedule for her mandatory vaccination. Time to go to her exam. Lucy is a bit stressed out. I'm here to make it easy for her to prove she is the right candidate, with a quick and secure connection between her phone and the examiner's. Exam passed successfully. Quick stop at the doctor's before celebrating, and no time to lose. On the way, Lucy uses me to declare her passport lost. She needs it for her upcoming road trip. No issue. She can request an emergency digital passport without having to go to the authority office. I make official admin a lot smoother. And that's not all. I can also help Lucy request a birth certificate, pay her taxes, or prove who she is when onboarding to new services, such as opening a bank account. I allow Lucy to certify her healthcare coverage entitlement. She's able to decide whether to authorize the doctor to access her medical records or not, ensuring her control over her personal data. Lucy needs one more thing before being all set for her trip to Australia: renting a car. I help her share her driver's license credentials online so that she doesn't have to wait hours in a queue to collect the car when she gets to Brisbane. The rental company benefits from secure and accurate information, and Lucy from a smooth experience. Lucy's friends are waiting for her inside the bar. To allow her to get in, I simply generate a QR code that proves Lucy is old enough, so she doesn't have to share all her ID details with the bar staff. So yes, I'm Lucy's best companion. I protect her identity and official credentials wherever she goes. I provide secured access to public and private services and allow her to have full control over her data privacy. In other words, I give the right access to the right data to the right person. I am also trusted by governments to best support countries' digital transformation, fight against ID fraud, and deliver smooth public services. I am the Thales Digital ID Wallet.
Hey, well, what do you think?
Well, I think they should
Just,
just cut through the cheese, and if they want to make us robots, just do it right now, right? You know what I'm saying? Just plug us on in. You know, they want to track you every single step of the way. How do people look at this and go, wow, look at that technology. It's great. No, this is scary. You know, I'm surprised when they say Thales will help you go to the bathroom by letting you know if you should stand up or sit down. Like, I mean, it was like, what are they going to say next? Every single step of the way. This is complete authoritarian control. This is crazy. This is just beyond scary.
Okay. I agree with you, fam. I agree with you. I 100% think this is a lot. You know, look, some people are not going to think this is a big deal. Look, they notice how they make it look like, oh, it's so easy. Look, I'm just, you know, she's controlling this. No, she's not. All of her information is in one place for the government to reach. All of her medical data, they can access it whenever she wants. That QR code that she trades with the doctor is just a QR code that allows him to have the information. It's not the doctor that's the problem. It's the government that already has all that information amassed. That's the issue. How much is the government allowed to have into your private life, into everything you do? Now, you know, they're basically just data mining us. This is all part of the fourth industrial revolution. This is what Klaus Schwab talked about at Davos. He talked about they want to merge humans with technology. This is the next step. Now, this is something that a lot of the left has completely been silent on, because they were focused on the labor movement, which is what we want to do, but we're not going to have a labor movement if we have complete control and surveillance by the government. That's what people need to understand. This is why we're really big on this channel on civil liberties, on the surveillance state, because if they monitor everything you do, you're not going to be able to organize. This has never happened in history before. This didn't happen during the 1917 Russian Revolution. Absolutely, you had giant, powerful interests, but you didn't have big tech giants, and you didn't have this fourth industrial revolution and all these apps that are being created to monitor your every move. they're not going to want you to step out of line. They want you to comply on everything. And this is about ID wallets. This isn't about even mandates. Now, this is the use of that sort of technology beyond that. That is what is the scary part. The surveillance state coming in, we are already decreasing protesting rights. We're already decreasing our civil liberties, our free speech. We're censoring people left and right. Now, they're going to know everything about you with one touch, and people are going to welcome this, saying, well, it's easy. Look, I just get... No, it's not about again, we always talk about this when we talk about elections. It's about facility, but it's also about security. Do you really want the government to have access to everything that is you? It's not the same thing as an ID. You obviously show an ID to a bartender or to a door guy to say, hey, I'm 21 and up, I can drink alcohol. That's not the same thing. With you showing them that pass, it's not about the door guy. The door guy doesn't care. It's about that being in one place where the government, and not the government, just these corporations who run the government, to easily access. It is scary, scary things. And I want to salute once again the Gray Zone, Max Blumenthal, and another journalist for writing an article, kind of summarizing a lot of what we've been talking about for a while, what Whitney Webb has been talking about, what Cory Morningstar has been talking about. Cory Morningstar will be on the show on Friday, and that's probably going to have to be a Rokfin only thing once we go talk with her. I'm sorry, guys, but it's going to have to be. But she's been really on this since the get-go, so we're really going to get her opinions on this. So yeah, this is scary. It's one of the scariest things I've seen. It's scary how they paint it like this thing is your best friend. It's like your little pal. It's like you take it everywhere. Yay. No, dude. Along with the robot dogs and the guns. And think about it, guys. Think about it. That's all.
What do we got next?
So the next part of this that I wanted to highlight was that the White House has announced their plan to roll out to vaccinate children. Now, this is directly from VOA News, right? And they basically announced today that their plan is to vaccinate every child from age 5 to 11 in the United States, pending the approval of the Pfizer vaccine for children in the next few weeks. So look for that in the next few weeks. This is a virtual briefing with reporters. The White House coronavirus coordinator, Jeff Zients, said that the Biden administration has been working with state and local officials for the past several weeks to ensure that vaccinations for young children are safe and readily available. He said they have worked with Pfizer to make packaging easier for pediatricians and other family doctors to provide vaccines to children, including providing smaller needles. Zients said the White House has enrolled more than 25,000 pediatricians, family doctors, children's hospitals, pharmacies, and community and rural health centers to help distribute the vaccines. U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy said that they want trusted doctors and other health experts to speak about the safety of the vaccinations if and when they are approved, in an attempt to head off any politics or misinformation that may make parents hesitant to get their children vaccinated. It's possible that it may not be approved for children, but they want the system in place. Likely it will be approved, guys, because this is what they're telling you. It'll be rolling out. So look out for that. And again, we're going to talk more about Pfizer in the Rokfin only section coming up in a little bit. And then the last thing on this section that I really wanted to point out was that there has been a pushback from certain corporations, one of them being In-N-Out. They said, we refuse to become the vaccination police. We fiercely disagree with any government that forces a private company to discriminate against customers. This is clear governmental overreach and is intrusive, improper, and offensive. This is a San Francisco-based In-N-Out that got in trouble for not closing, for it closed partially to the public besides takeout because they refused to follow the mandate where they had to verify people's vaccination order. Now, San Francisco is one of the most strict areas where everybody must pretty much present a vaccine card or a digital vaccine card to show that you have been fully vaccinated in order to go into restaurants, bars, any events. Just like New York, San Francisco is even worse than LA as far as how strict they are. Los Angeles is now going to start that in November. We've talked about this. And this is, by the way, the city's only In-N-Out. And again, people are pushing back. And so they also said, as a company, In-N-Out Burger strongly believes in the highest form of customer service. And to us, that means serving all customers who visit us and making all customers feel welcome. We refuse to become the vaccination police for any government. So just wanted to point that out. And that's it for this section.